Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Layla and today I'm going to share my finance update for April 2025. Happy May. I hope you all had an amazing month of April, and I will be hopping to my spreadsheets in just a bit, but I'm going to first go over the two goals that I set for the month of April. So first would be to make $6,000 in income, so just from my business. I did not quite hit this goal, but I'm not too far off. So I'll give you that number in just a bit, but I'm just like a few hundred away. And then my second goal for the month was to contribute at least $555 to my Roth IRA, because if I do $555 every month through the rest of the year, I will be able to max out my Roth IRA, but I actually was able to do more. I ended up contributing $700 in the month of April. Didn't have to pull from savings for that. That was just money that I had available to invest. Now, when I go through my spending, you'll see quite a few categories where I went over budget. I'll, of course, explain everything as I go through. Not ideal. I had a high spend month last month, and I would say this month was also just things came up that I didn't expect to. But I guess I've kind of been saying that in each video. Like each time I'm making a budget lately, I'm not 100% set on it because it just depends on sales or it depends on what ends up happening. So yeah, let's go ahead and hop to my spreadsheets and we'll talk through it. You can get this template for free. I have it linked down below. You will have to enter your name and email address, but you'll get one that looks just like this, as well as a couple of different options. This one looks a little bit different because I'm self-employed. So the top section here is focused on the business side, and then the bottom is the personal side. So I will explain everything as I go through. For gross business revenue, I was expecting at least $4,000. The goal was $6,000, but I fell in between that. So I actually made $5,326.77. And then for rollover business revenue, this is just money that is still in my business checking account that rolled over from the previous month. I was expecting at least $1,000, but this was much higher, $2,373.20. This has been looking good. This is exactly what I want to happen here. As y'all know, I think it'll be really helpful for me going into the summer months to have a few thousand in that account just in case. I, of course, am going to be working on making more money, but knowing that the summer months tend to slow down, I want to have a bit more of a cushion there. And May, the amount that rolled over from April into May was even higher than this, so we are definitely on the right track. Then for my business sinking fund, I was expecting to pull $1,000. That's not for my business sinking fund. That would be from my travel sinking fund because I needed to book travel relevant to my business. So I did do that, and I ended up pulling $1,246 actually from my travel sinking fund. So that is how much the flight costs to go to Portland, as well as the hotel. So kind of expensive. I think the price went up on, no, I honestly don't think it did. I don't think the price went up on either of those. I'm not sure where I got the 1,000. I think what I was thinking was to use some of my rewards points through Capital One, but I'm actually going to be using that for our trip in May to California. And I might have a bit to cover some of this, but yeah, I think that's why I was thinking it would only be 1,000. But I did use my $300 travel credit through Capital One on this purchase. So, okay. So expenses on the business side. First up, we have payroll. I pay myself $2,500. That's correct. My 401k match, I match 4%, so that comes to $100. Payroll taxes, I expected $267.74, but unemployment tax starts to fall out throughout the year, so that was lower, $245.25. And then distribution, this is just transferring money from my business checking account to my personal checking account to use as needed. That was $1,400. And then business expenses, actual business expenses, I expected $1,100, but that was higher because of the travel. So altogether, $1,457.48. My insurance, that is $202.33. That covers my medical insurance as well as dental. And then my business sinking fund, I did not budget for, but any direct support that I receive through Venmo or Buy Me a Coffee, I do put toward my business sinking fund to prep for my giveaway. That was $110. I mentioned this in my recent video, the transfers of the month that I made. And that was 100 from Sina and then 10 from Eric. So huge thank you to Sina and Eric. And that is everything on the business side. So altogether spent about $6,015 and I had quite a bit left over. So yeah, luckily a whole bunch was able to roll, not a whole bunch, but over 2,700 rolled over into May. So that cushion is just growing in my business checking account. I just realized that I forgot to add in where my income came from, the breakdown of my business income and even my extra income. So I'll show you all that in just a bit. Now for the personal side of things, my paychecks, my gross earnings, $2,500. I took that $1,400 distribution. I did make extra income that came to $511.19. Like I said, I will show that breakdown in just a bit. From my sinking funds, I expected 150, and that is correct. I did pull 150 from my car maintenance sinking fund, and I'll talk about what I got done as I go through my spending. So first up would be taxes, the $466.50. That is correct. That's what comes out of my paychecks. My 401k, I contribute 5%, so 125. Roth IRA, I wanted to do at least 555, but I contributed 700. So this does show as a negative in the red number, but technically it's a positive thing, so that's good. My brokerage, I did not add anything to, nothing to my emergency fund, nothing to my gift sinking fund, nothing to car maintenance, and then I did add the 125 to my car insurance sinking fund. I did end up donating $100 because I took Honey she's part of a rescue now, which is very exciting. That's like a big deal for dogs because it is much more likely that she will get adopted. It's been like a month now since she's been in the rescue. Unfortunately, still no interest, but slowly but surely, I'm sure it will come. But she did get a dental done on her teeth, and I decided to donate to the rescue just, for paying for that. I don't have to, but just to support. House and utilities, I budgeted $1,191, and that is correct. Household, $300 is what I budgeted. I thought I would be spending more on the garden, but I had budgeted this higher amount not knowing what the end of March would look like. So I spent more in March on the garden than I had budgeted for. So for April, I did not have to spend as much. That came to $159.14, so under budget there by quite a bit. I did buy some potting soil, some flowers and veggies, and then I got some tissues for the house. For groceries, I budgeted $400 and I came right under budget here. I spent $384.19. Very proud of that, under budget by $15.81. Food out, on the other hand, I did go over budget, so budgeted $25, ended up spending $33.56. Got a Publix sub. I did get QT coffee and snacks for me and Sebastian. I actually got another QT coffee later in the month. I just really like their decaf, and it's like $2 and some change, which is good. And then I got coffee for myself and my friend Janny. Some of y'all may know her from YouTube. She at least used to make YouTube content about her finances, but she brought me some cages for my tomatoes for the garden, or like I met up with her to grab those. So I was like, let me get you a coffee. And we just hung out for a bit. So a little bit over budget there, but nothing too crazy. Gas for my car, I budgeted $75. I got gas twice, and that cost $65.48, so under budget. Health and beauty, unfortunately, went over budget here. I budgeted $355. That ended up being $501.80. I bought some skincare. I got my massage. I had to pay a copay. I ran out of my lotion from Sol de Janeiro, so I reordered that. I got vitamins because I ran out. I had to pay for my prescription. I went to the dentist, which my copay there is $50, and then I got some more nose strips for breathing at night. Over budget by $146.80. Then for the dogs, over budget here too. So I budgeted $345. That ended up being $410.78. And I went over budget because I ordered food for my foster dog. And the good thing though is I don't need to spend anything on her this month. Netflix is $26.98. My gym membership is $39.99. Gifts, I budgeted $50, ended up spending $33.72, just a couple of gifts there. Personal spending, I budgeted $100. This was an area I wasn't sure about, just depending on sales and what came up, but I did spend more than I needed to. I spent $472.54. Now, I do have a few things I need to return, so this is going to be, it's not going to be much, probably like $20 or $30 less than this figure, so I'll have to just update that later. But I did buy underwear because I needed that. That was planned for the month, and I also had 10% extra cash back through Bank of America for that. I did end up buying a dress for the wedding that I'm going to in July. I also bought bikinis for the summer and for that trip. It's been several years since I've bought a new bikini anyway. I did end up ordering some workout clothes from Honor Active because they had a sale, and I got some shirts and sports bra and that sort of thing. And then I ordered a couple of things from Hollister. So not necessary for some of the things, but I'm happy with my purchases. Don't regret it, and I don't really feel guilty about it. And this will be a little bit lower, like maybe $440, $450. But as of right now, over budget there by $373. Then car maintenance and car wash, I budgeted $115. I don't know why I went lower. I guess I was expecting it to cost less, but I ended up going to one of those like express oil change, which they're really fast, but they do charge a little bit more. So the oil change itself costs about $150, and then I did get a car wash for $15. So altogether $163.66. A little bit over budget, but it was worth it in my opinion for how great the service is at those express oil changes, and that's where the $150 comes in. I covered the oil change and just cash flowed the car wash. My car was in desperate need of a wash. Like, it had been a year. Literally, I hadn't washed my car in a year, which is low-key embarrassing, so I took the time to clean it, and it feels really good and it looks really good. Just did that yesterday, actually, on the last day of the month. And then there were two things that came up that I did not budget for. So first would be fun and entertainment. I didn't realize that April was my month to host our monthly date night for me and my boyfriend, and I just got us some movie tickets and some food, but that was in the groceries. But that cost $26.88, so we went to go see the movie Warfare. I like to do matinee, so it was like 2 p.m. and it saves you a little bit of money by doing that. And then the next thing was parking for the airport for our trip this month to California. Because now, since we're a little bit further from the airport, we'd like to actually just drive there and park. And on the news, we were watching the news, and it was like, come May 1st, parking is practically doubling at the Atlanta airport. It's going from like $16 a night to $30, which is crazy. And we don't park right at the airport. If you go to like the parking spot, or it's literally called that, the parking spot, or it used to be Park and Fly, I think. And it's really great, very affordable. They shuttle you to they'll like drop you off at the airport. We absolutely love it. So we were like, if the airport parking is increasing, that's probably going to increase too, because the demand is going to increase. So I was like, let's just go ahead and book that. So that was $65 for a few nights, not too bad. So that's what things are looking like overall. And I did, this is a negative number, so went quite a bit over budget. As you can see, I did have money that rolled over from the previous month into this month in my personal checking account, so I had no problem covering everything. Yeah, I don't love to see myself going over budget, but it happens, as long as I'm on track for the year, which I am. That's the whole point of me doing the annual budget and tracking my spending on a regular basis, then I'm good. All right, and as promised, here is the breakdown of my business income up at the top and my extra income down at the bottom. Sorry for missing that. I just completely forgot about it, but pretty decent month overall. A little bit of a drop in my YouTube revenue, decent amount from affiliates and sponsors. I have started including any referrals that I get from my credit cards and such to the business side of things, because that's how I reported it come tax time. And then for extra income, this is just like my personal cash back. I did get my bonus from CITI, so I don't know if that's expiring soon, but if you're interested, I have my referral link for that. And then I did do this study in April. It was really cool. I don't think I'm allowed to give the details, but it was like this gadget for your wrist that could see your hand motions. And it was actually really fun. It was a 3-hour study. They paid me $120, but it was kind of fun to do it. And it's pretty cool to be a part of the just back end of that, I suppose. So, all right, so that's all of that. Let's go ahead and hop to my monthly summary, my investments, my savings, net worth, all of that. All right, first up would be my savings. These are in Marcus by Goldman Sachs, my high yield savings account. And yes, they are all separated by different accounts and they earn the same interest. And I recorded these numbers on the last day of the month after the interest came through. So taxes, that is still at 0.23, nothing, I didn't add anything there and not enough to gain any interest. Emergency fund, that went up just because of the interest. So that's $13,841.57. Gift sinking fund, $915.20. Travel, I did pull from that quite a bit. So that went down to $4,732.43. Car maintenance, I pulled a little bit from that, and that is now at $3,441.24. My car insurance, I added to it, so that's at $651.05. My insurance savings, I pulled from that last month, so that went up a bit because the interest, $996.76. Business, $1,341.37. So altogether, $25,920 or so in my savings. Bit of a decrease from last month, but that's all right. Now, these next three are my investments, my retirement accounts and such. So my Roth IRA, everything did start to go up toward the end of the month. Nothing crazy, but overall, things are looking okay. So my Roth IRA is at $39,865.23, up 1.2%. So I did contribute $700 in the month, and then I think the market was a little bit higher than where it ended in March, but I'm not worried about it or anything. It just, from what I could tell. 401k, that ended at $39,004.53, up 1.6%. And then my brokerage account ended at $10,002.97. So it didn't quite recover. It dropped 0.03%. Altogether, $88,872.73, which is an overall increase of 1.2% compared to last month. And between the two, I have about $114,793. And then the yellow section down here is for my net worth. All of the numbers that I mentioned up here, you will see down in the yellow section, except for my taxes sinking fund. It's barely anything anyway. And then I do add in how much I have in my business checking account and my personal checking account. So that's this number here. So altogether, my net worth, $117,888.18. Plus it'll be a little bit higher technically for April because I have to return a few things. So by like $20 or $30, this will be increased by the time I return that. Oh, and I do not count the value of my car or any of my personal belongings in my net worth. That's just personal preference. So a little bit of an increase compared to last month, nothing crazy. And we'll see what happens as the year continues. Here's my tracker for that so far this year, and then from the last few years. So from the negative all the way until now. Final number on this tab, my credit score, 810, so a bit of an increase. Final sheet for me to go through would be my goal trackers. This is available for purchase on my Etsy shop, and this is specific for Google Sheets, by the way. Okay, so I want to max out my Roth IRA. I contributed $700 in April, so far this year, $2,700, and I still have $4,300 to go. I would like to reach a net worth of $150,000 or more. Net worth goals are not something I can completely control, but still gonna aim for that. In the month of April, my net worth increased by $216.07 compared to the last couple months. That looks pretty good, but yeah, not much progress here. We are actually worse than we were off at the beginning of the year, but that's okay. I would like to make $120,000 or more in business revenue. That's gross business revenue. Even better if it's net. In the month of April, I made $5,326.77. So far this year, 23,410 or so, and I have quite a bit to go, 96,590. Still absolutely possible, and I'm gonna work on that. I would like to have $105,000 invested, another thing that I can't really control depending on the market, but I can work on contributing more to my Roth IRA, maxing that out, and then more to my brokerage and my 401k. So April, that increased by $1,068.27, but same thing here, still overall negative for the year. I would like to reach an emergency fund of $15,000 or more, not a huge concern of mine or not like something I'm really working toward actively. I've just been letting the interest accrue in there. So April, that was an additional $53.12, and y'all saw that that's at $13,842 or so. I would like to make $10,000 in extra income. I think it's just kind of fun to make extra income and see what's possible for April. Y'all saw that was $511.19. So far this year, $1,666. Quite a bit to go there as well. And then the final thing, I would like to spend less than $50,000 in the year, and this is excluding investing, excluding saving, no taxes, not even business expenses, anything like that. So April, I spent $3,674.72, and I'm so far this year $13,400. So I'm on track. I haven't gone over 50K in spending for a few years now. So that is all of April for me. Not the greatest, not the worst. I'm pretty content with it, and I am excited about May and going into the summer months. I have kind of a lot going on, but it's all good things. So feel free to comment down below how the month of April went for you. Otherwise, thank you all so much for watching. I would really appreciate it if you give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next one.